Welcome to Voices for Impact, the podcast. Started during the COVID-19 pandemic and made in Syracuse, Voices for Impact is full of conversations with thought leaders from around the world that have made significant accomplishments in their lives and have gone through their own challenges, but have made it through those adversities and made positive impacts through their work. I'm your host, Danielle Mensing, and as a fundraiser for a nonprofit, I believe the most valuable tool you can give yourself is making a positive impact on others and your community. Every conversation is going to give you tools and tactics from entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, and change makers that will encourage you to develop a growth mindset and reimagine how you can find your purpose. Now let's get started. This episode of Voices for Impact is sponsored by EmPowered Nutrition. EmPowered Nutrition is a nutrition coaching business that empowers young women to simplify life by moving away from the all-consuming diet mentality. Through individual and group nutrition coaching, clients find their inner confidence so they can define their own path of health and happiness. Contact registered dietitian and owner Emily Holdorf at emily@empowerednutrition.co, online at www.empowerednutrition.co, or on social media at Emily_the_RD. If you would like to advertise on an episode of Voices for Impact, contact us through Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Now back to the episode. Welcome to another episode of Voices for Impact. My name is Danielle Mensing, founder of Voices for Impact, and today I am chatting with Emily Holdorf. Emily is a registered dietitian located in Central New York, where she owns her own nutrition coaching business, EmPowered Nutrition. And as a dietitian, Emily strives to empower young women to simplify life by moving away from an all-consuming diet mentality that holds them back from finding their inner confidence, so they can define their own path of health and happiness. In addition to individual and group nutrition coaching, she creates easy, approachable recipes for her blog and offers cooking demos and workshops to the public. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for having a conversation with me today, Emily.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here, Danielle.
So tell me, what do you love most about what you do as a dietitian, owning your own business?
Yeah. So I think that honestly, the piece that I love the most is being able to impact individuals on really that individual level. During my one-on-one coaching sessions, I really get to know these people that I'm working with on a deeper level. And it's a lot of me asking them questions, hearing their backstory, all of those things that has brought them into my office or now virtually. And I just get to be able to meet them where they're at and help guide them on their health journey, which is really special and I think so different for each individual, which keeps all of the work really interesting always.
Yeah. So what got you interested in nutrition and helping women find this inner confidence?
Yeah. So I have always kind of been interested in food growing up. I loved cooking with my parents or my grandma, and I just always loved that food aspect of things. And I was an athlete growing up. I played varsity sports. I ran track in college. And I really started to see kind of how food affected my performance on the field and things like that. So I just kind of, in your typical, like, I don't know, junior year of high school, like looking into what do I want to be when I grow up kind of things. I just found nutrition and kind of ran with it. And so I would say going into my career as a dietitian, I thought I was going to do something more probably along that sports nutrition type of line of work. But as I got into the courses and then finally graduated and got into the working world, I guess, kind of just found this passion for the intuitive eating lens that I practice from, and just really found that way of practicing nutrition really aligned with my values just as a person. And it's really rooted in self-compassion and giving yourself grace, and just being able to have that all foods fit mentality was really appealing to me. So I think it really comes from that balanced approach, which I love. And yeah, I just kind of like fell into that path and have just kind of ran with it.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you mentioned it just aligns with your values and what you felt you wanted to do and how you wanted to impact people. So that's such an important thing with anything that you want to do for work, is to also
Yeah.
love it and be passionate about it. And of course, it sounds like you are.
Absolutely.
What are some, like, one or two tips you could give us that you give in your coaching sessions?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So I always find myself coming back to similar topics with clients. So while I say, everyone's so individualized and every session is so different, there are these, common themes I think that always tend to pop up. And like I described a little bit before with intuitive eating and practicing from that lens, it's really all encompassing of health and wellness in general, I think. And that's what I try to bring to the table, that kind of holistic view of health. So I think two of my favorite tips, I guess. I have a lot of favorite tips, but two of them that come to mind when you ask this is just seeing what you can add. So whether it's, can I add some, extra fruit into my lunch that I bring with me to work? Or can I add extra sleep? Or maybe it's just water, or what can I add? I'm big on adding versus taking away. I'd rather be able to have the things that we enjoy, and have those meal experiences and feel satisfied, while still adding maybe a boost of nutrition in the mix. But really focus on that satisfaction piece there. And I think with that, I like encouraging people to ask themselves two little questions, just whether it's randomly or before a meal, or just to check in with themselves of, what am I wanting or craving? And then following that up with, what am I needing? So being able to kind of similarly ask yourself, like, okay, what do I want? What sounds good to me? Those types of things. And then following it up with that need aspect of, okay, well, maybe I know I'm going to feel a little bit better if I have a balanced meal and the cookie versus just the cookies for lunch. So kind of having that balance mindset in there too.
That makes me think, well, I have a question now, because
Yeah.
I am I love nighttime snacks. Like right before bed, I have to have cookies. Like it's not
Yeah.
the healthiest snack. And I try to mix it up by having like mixed nuts or something else, like if I want salty instead of just sweets all the time. But I do notice that the more I eat sugar, and I want to stay away from sugar because there's so many studies now and so much we know about how sugar leads to other diseases down the road if you
Mhm.
consume too much throughout, your diet. But what are some tips on like how to avoid that craving you get at night, or whenever your craving is of that sugary that you want? What should I replace that with? Should I get a banana like instead? But what if I don't want a banana? Like how do
Right.
I get away from that sugar?
Yeah, great question. This is also one of those super common themes that pops up a lot for people. And um, the first thing I like to encourage people to look at is their day leading up to the nighttime snack. So looking at kind of, am I getting enough? Like, did I, do a harder workout today? Or was I just busy running errands today and like more active than I normally am? Like, what did my day look like leading up to this craving? and kind of getting curious there and seeing that type of stuff. So it's been shown if we don't eat enough during the day, we're going to our body, being being a super smart thing, our bodies are so smart. They know what we need, and maybe we kind of try to counteract that at times, but being able to listen to what our body's telling us. So if it is saying like, okay, I'm needing more carbs, maybe I'm having a carb craving, um, maybe it's because I'm stressed out at work and I just am expending more energy there. So, um, kind of looking into some of the backstory pieces.
Mm.
And then, two, like you said, like, okay, if I'm having this craving, should I have a banana instead, or what should I have? I think coming back to those asking yourself two questions type of thing of, okay, if I'm really craving the cookie, letting yourself have that cookie, honor that craving. And then follow it up with, okay, was that like really what I am needing? Like, am I only needing the cookie, or maybe I need something else? Like maybe it is, I am physically hungry and need a little bit more substantial food, or maybe I'm just tired and it's just um, kind of manifesting in a sugary craving. So a lot of it is asking yourself these questions leading up to the experience and getting to know patterns that come up for you and things like that. And that's a lot of the work that I do with clients, is kind of figuring those pieces out. And then it's kind of up to the client to be able to say like, okay, like this is what works for me, this is what doesn't work for me. And we kind of approach it from that team based mindset.
Yeah. That is so interesting. There's, I think, it's just so much to learn when you if you're looking to hire somebody as a nutritionist and like what you do. Um, there's so many different layers to that. It's not just a one day fix of learning about how to like properly eat and all of that. And so that's really interesting that it's going back to um why am I having this craving? Like, what about my day? I never
Yeah.
thought of it that way. That's
Yeah.
so interesting. So I'm gonna have to maybe even make a journal or write
Yeah.
what did I do today and why am I having this sugary craving or why am I having this other craving today, that I wouldn't have dependent on what activities I've done.
Right, right.
And
And sometimes it's just, you're having that craving and you're just wanting the cookie, and that's the end of the conversation. Like, so it's being able to embrace that grayness, I think, too, of like, it's not going to be this black or white, like yes or no answer. And I think that can be frustrating for people, but it's also um, kind of like how life is as a whole. So it just makes sense sometimes.
yeah. Now, my next question is how do you get into a positive mindset? You seem like a very positive person. And I think this year it's been so hard for people to keep that mindset. Is it also, mentally you can keep that mindset, but do you think that nutrition plays a role in that as well?
Yeah. So I love that question, because I think, like you said, in 2020, we've all been faced with craziness, and it could be very easy for a lot of us to fall into a negative mindset. So something for me that I've kind of developed in my own just like personal development journey, I would say over the past year or so, has been intention setting. And um, what I like to do, how I like to do it, is just on a weekly basis, kind of sit down. I have a little notebook that I keep kind of some to-dos in, and then also some of these intentions. And some of them are things I come up with myself, of just like a statement that I want to have to set the tone for my week, maybe. But others are, people that I follow on Instagram that I get inspired by, and they have a little affirmation or something like that. So it's really a range of things in kind of how I do that. But that's something I really like to do. And then I'll look at it like every morning or at nighttime and just kind of come back to that. And that helps me personally, kind of stay in that positive mindset, or at least a neutral mindset. um, and and to speak on the nutrition aspect, I think being able to feel like you're showing up as your best self, is a lot of times what helps people become or have that positive mindset. So I think being able to honor your health and prioritize that, but not have it be this like all consuming thing is what's helpful to kind of help boost that positive mindset maybe. So while I'm not going to say that there's, everyone should go eat this one certain thing and that'll help with their positivity. I think obviously overall good nutrition is going to help boost that mindset, but I think being able to approach nutrition from just a positive mindset in general, is what kind of helps that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Those are two really great tips. I really liked your first one. I was actually just talking to somebody about this the other day about how I need to do more of that, of writing down your intentions, or just something to look at in the morning to start your
Yeah.
day, to start right off the bat having a positive thing to read instead of,
Right.
I think your mind, and I don't know if that's like an evolutionary thing, but it goes right to the negative or sometimes. But if you train your mind to have those positive thoughts from the beginning of your day and before you go to bed, I think that does retrain your mind to continuously be positive. And then, of course, like you did say, yeah, and that the nutrition and what you eat does play a role in keeping that positive mindset going. So really, really great tips. What is one challenge you've overcome and how did you get through that adversity?
So I think that probably just starting a business in general would be one of my biggest challenges, that I've been faced with. And obviously, it's something that I um, chose to do and put myself into. But um, my business has seen many different iterations over the past few years, and this year of 2020 I've kind of become more serious about it and wanted to grow and expand and just reach more people and that kind of thing. So um, I think that would probably be just overall a continual challenge for me. And I think that the reason I continue to show up for myself and my business every day is just because I can see the long term like light at the end of the tunnel type of things. And it, while it may be challenging in the moment to, have a full-time job and balance a business on the side and like go through all of those different evolutions, I know that it'll be worth it in the end, and I'll be able to have that that life that I'm kind of aspiring to have
Hey,
eventually.
how exciting. That's so awesome. I think that's some really good insight too. You're building something and with that comes challenges, but you do see that end result, or and maybe there isn't an end result, but there's just this continuous journey and it'll just keep unfolding. You'll keep going through the different goals that you have and you'll reach that goal and then there will be another goal and then so on and so forth. But that's so exciting that you've grown so much in your business recently and you're continuing to do so. So I look forward to watching that journey. What is a skill or characteristic about you that you think has allowed you to reach your goals and dreams in life?
Yeah. So I think probably just having like being driven and kind of that more mindset almost. I've always, just looked at kind of having my own business as being able to have more of what I want in my life, more freedom, more impact on individuals, just being able to get to know more people and do that kind of work with others. So I think those types of things are kind of what keeps me kind of going.
My last question to you is, how do you define success?
When I define success for myself, I like to look at it as like a season of success, maybe, because I think this season of life is not going to be like the next for me. So what's successful for me now is probably not going to always be successful for me. I'm always, like I said, I'm always kind of looking for more and growth and those types of things. So right now, I think success looks like feeling fulfilled. And when I feel fulfilled, I feel happiness. So I think being able to just continually be able to work with individuals on their health goals and journey, that really fulfills me. And I feel like I make an impact on people every day by doing this work, which is super important to me. So by just having that, I think really kind of helps me feel successful. And I know that I'll be able to continue to build upon that and grow that success and whatever it may look like 5, 10, 20 years from now, which is really positive and hopeful. And it's really exciting.
That's a great answer. I love that answer. Thank you so much for giving us some insight into your story and what empowered nutrition is all about. So thank you so much for talking to me today. And thank you so much to our viewers for watching. Voices for Impact is on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as several podcast platforms. So check it out. Please follow and like to stay connected. And I'll see you next time on Voices for Impact. Bye, everyone. This episode of Voices for Impact is sponsored by EmPowered Nutrition. EmPowered Nutrition is a nutrition coaching business that empowers young women to simplify life by moving away from the all-consuming diet mentality. Through individual and group nutrition coaching, clients find their inner confidence so they can define their own path of health and happiness. Contact registered dietitian and owner Emily Holdorf at emily@empowerednutrition.co, online at www.empowerednutrition.co, or on social media at Emily_the_RD. If you would like to advertise on an episode of Voices for Impact, contact us through Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn.